Since its beginning, students at LaTrobe University have expressed their right to protest about global issues they feel strongly about. However, protesting international issues on campus can create conflict within the university. It's created a complicated relationship between students and the governing body. When Barry York, Brian Polar and Fergus Robinson led Marxist protests against the university's alleged involvement in the Vietnam War and the South African apartheid, the university took out an injunction against them. When they defied it, the police enforced the Supreme Court's order and they were imprisoned for 3 months in Melbourne's most notorious prison.
Had a peaceful march up until the point that the police laid into us, the West Heidelberg police, and a detective who we think was from Russell Street in the city. And they made clear they didn't like us. They beat us up pretty badly.
The civility of life on the Bundoora campus was challenged again in 2012, when students protested about intended course cuts. LaTrobe University introduced a proposal to cut hundreds of subjects and fire 45 members of the academic faculty, resulting in an overnight occupation of the Agora. 4 days later, on the university's open day in 2012, Vice-Chancellor John Dewar tried to quell unrest by allocating a designated protesting space for students. Dewar threatened any protesters gathering outside these designated areas would face academic suspension or potentially expulsion from the university. When Dewar was cornered in a room after being chased by a mob of protesters, he allegedly escaped through a network of underground tunnels. In 2024, the university introduced guidelines and policies regarding student protests. A university spokesperson stated,
"The university will not accept racist, discriminatory, abusive, threatening, or violent behaviour by any person on our campus, nor damage to property. Behaviour of this kind may result in disciplinary action."
When the Students for Palestine protests overtook the Agora last year, Xavier Dupé, a Socialist Party leader at LaTrobe, claimed that he faced disciplinary action for his alleged peaceful encampment in the Agora. When asked for evidence regarding disciplinary action taken against him, Xavier Dupé failed to comment. Dupé and other Students for Palestine claimed that they were inspired by similar protests happening in America regarding the Israeli occupation on the Gaza Strip.
Prompted the university students in the US to set up their protest camps and say, we're not going to allow business as usual to go on while our government is funding a genocide.
Pro-Palestinian student protesters at Melbourne University in particular alleged student surveillance occurred through free university Wi-Fi, a university system with tracking capabilities. However, Melbourne University promised the software would not be used for surveilling individuals. A report into the incident by the Office of the Victorian Information Commissioner states,
"The university engaged in function creep by using surveillance of users of on-campus Wi-Fi in disciplinary proceedings that began after a protest."
In an article written for The Conversation, Professor Ju Cheong Tum says that recent university protests across the country have led to restrictions and crackdowns in all states. The University of Western Australia has banned student announcements in class. The University of Adelaide has banned encampments and indoor protests. And the University of Melbourne has banned non-students at university protests. The history of student protests at LaTrobe University shows us that while the issues change, the core struggle for freedom of speech does not. As new generations of students continue to take a stand on the issues they feel passionate about, the battle between them and the university governing bodies is set to continue. I'm Noah Lawson, reporting for The Ag.